Good day, everyone. My name is Bobby Harrell with Strand Lighting, here to discuss theater system design basics. For a lot of people, the system itself starts with the output or starts with the fixtures. So we'll be talking today about the range, the ever-increasing range of fixtures that we have available for theatrical systems projects. The series of fixtures that we've been very successful with and have been around for quite a while now are our PL Mark II series of fixtures. With these, we have the entry-level products of the PL Profile 1, the PL Fresnel 1, and the PL Psych 1. These are all single engine fixtures. It's an RGBW engine. Then we have our PL Profile 4, which is a larger format fixture for larger, longer front of house throws. It has the same engine, it just happens to have four of the engines instead of ones. So with these fixtures, you can offer a complete unified solution for profiles, washes, and psych fixtures for a basic theatrical system. In addition to that, we've embellished our offering with our Showline range of products that have now been rolled into the Vari-Lite branding. The SL-PAR 155 zoom, we've sold truckloads of these. It's a brilliant little RGBW wash light with manual zoom. Stepping up from the 150 watt engine to a 220 watt engine is the Punchlight 220. Not only does this give you more output, it has an electronic zoom, and you have up to 3 zones of control for direct view applications. In addition to that, the Punchlight is an IP65 rated fixture available for outdoor use. The SL600 series is a series of strips. We've offered a 2 foot, a 4 foot, a 6 foot. The 2 foot is no longer available, but they are out there. These are a great linear product, primarily for larger psychs that the PL Psych can't handle. We've also sold a lot of them as strip replacements for school projects. You can control the fixture completely by itself or individual control of each pair of LED engines. This is also an RGBW fixture. A new offering for us as of the fall of 2019 are the VL800 series of fixtures. Here we have both wash and profile, moving and non-moving heads, and we'll talk about each of these individually. So the VL800 Profar, it's a great little EventPar fixture with 7 LED engines. These are also RGBW. It has 730 watt engines. There are color presets that are built, a very quiet motorized zoom. You have multiple modes of fan control for acoustically sensitive environments, and the ability to adjust the frequency for camera rates. In addition to the ProPar, we have the VL800 EventPars. These are engineered to mimic the footprint of a Par 64 unit, and we have 2 different versions of these. We have a warm white version, which gives you over 10,000 lumens of output. We have a RGBA version, so the amber instead of the white gives you much richer, warmer colors. These are IP24 rated, so they are rated against water spray from any direction. So these are great for outdoor festival uses. There's a handle. You may be able to see it on the inside in front of the lens for manual zoom movement, and it has notches, so it goes from about 8 degrees to 40 degrees within that. So color presets are available, adjustable frequency for camera rates. It's a great little series of par cans. Now the Event Wash, this takes the head of the ProPar and puts it into a moving head. So you have the same 730 watt RGBW engines, you have smooth Vari-Lite dimming, you've got the moving head control, and the other difference with this fixture is you do get individual control of the 7 LEDs, so you can do pixel mapping with this little guy. It's very small form factor, very affordable. As we have talked to a lot of people about the two versions, the non-moving head and the moving head, it's been a no-brainer for most people. It's just not that much more expensive for the moving head version, and that's what most people are choosing. The latest offering in the VL800 series is the event profile. So this is a very cost-effective, high-output LED profile. And anything that we have that is labeled a profile means that it has shutters. So this does have electronically controlled shutters. There's both the static and rotating gobo wheels, prism, frost, iris, the same multi-mode fan control for acoustically sensitive environments, and the same adjustable frequency for camera frame rates. Now, a brand new offering that will come out in the second quarter of 2020 is the Strand Mid-Theatrical fixtures. Here we have an entire range of profiles or LEKOs, FRESNELS, and linear product for cyc and strip applications. So the LED LEKO profiles, there are multiple versions of this. In all of these, when we talk about our color mixing engine, it is moving to a brand new 6-color engine. So this has red, green, blue, amber, lime, and cyan. In addition to the color mixing engine, we will have a warm tunable white from 2700 to 4500 Kelvin and a cold tunable white that will go from 4000 Kelvin to 7000 Kelvin. So these tunable whites will have a CRI that exceeds 94, and all of these will be available in the same form factor. This is very similar to the PL4 or the SPX form factor. The lenses are interchangeable, just as they are with the PL4 and the SPX. So very high output mid-size LED theatrical units, very high CRI with the RGB ALC color system, and this also has smart color control. What that means is that you can patch these up and control them as if they were a CMY fixture, yet it will manage outputting across all 6 color engines. So it's very intelligent control that we're getting a lot of positive feedback on. In addition to the traditional LED LEKOs, we will also have an IP65 rated LED LEKO. So this is an outdoor rated profile. You have 2 different versions of this. There will be the RGB ALC color system with smart color control engine. There will also be a cold white version at 5600 Kelvin. The thing that is unique about this particular fixture is you will have a zoom 18 to 30 degree and adjustable focused. These can either be controlled manually at the fixture or electronically at the console. For FRESNELS, we are releasing the CANTATA line of FRESNELS. These will also come in multiple versions. There will be the RGB ALC color system with smart color control engine. There will also be a warm tunable white from 2700 to 45 and a cold tunable white from 4000 Kelvin to 7000 Kelvin. We have independent color mixing and temperature control, standard size rails to support an optional 8-leaf barn door or third-party accessory, quiet operation with the 3 different fan modes, and adjustable frequency for camera frame rates. So while these are being engineered for theatrical environments, they're going to be very accessible for the TV studio market as well. Moving on to the AURORA strips, we have 2 versions of this. There is a 4-cell version and a 12-cell version. They both have the RGB ALC color system with smart color control. You can have pixel control of each cell. These are completely convection cooled, so they are of a fanless design, so there'll be no fan noise whatsoever, and adjustable frequency for camera frame rates. In addition to the AURORA, there will be a CODA LED cyc. This is a very high output cyc. As you can see from the image, you can separate your tiltability from top and bottom to extend its range to be able to output over taller cycs. It does have the RGB ALC color system with smart color control, independent color mixing and temperature control. You'll have two zones of control to control the top separately from the bottom. It is also convection cooled, so it is of a fanless design and with the adjustable frequency. So a fixture that we've had for a bit now is our SPX LED. The benefit that this fixture brings, because it is a fixed warm white at 3000 Kelvin, but the benefit that it brings that the other fixtures don't is this can be mains dimmable. Getting back to, that was some of the products, some of the fixture product. And let's talk about how one goes about just some very simple theater design layouts. One first has to think of lighting angles. So what angles do you have available to light the performers to ensure the quality of illumination, visibility, as well as theatricality? When we look at systems nowadays, especially new systems, we're not really designing systems that are based upon dimmers. Everything has pretty much moved on to an LED based system. So one needs relays to provide switched power. So the fixtures are going to provide the output and the color. Relays are going to provide the power. And then one must have control for ease of use. So this is simply showing a basic relay rack that is mounted directly on the wall of the facility. And we'll talk about some of those products. Next to it is an equipment rack that would have many of the electronics needed for the system, potentially network nodes, network switches, an architectural control touch screen, a larger one possibly. Next to that is showing, mounted on the wall, a 10-inch Visionette touchscreen. And then if you come down the stage of the proscenium, you'll see a Visionette button station that is mounted next to an egress location for the auditorium. And behind the seating area, you'll have a theatrical console location. Some facilities, this is an open area. In many, it could be an enclosed room, a booth. And next to that is a Visionette portable control station. Again, it doesn't have to be portable, but that does provide flexibility of movement. Otherwise, it could be mounted on the wall in the booth. So basic system layout. So we've talked about the relay rack. The red line is just showing power that's going to go out to all of the lighting positions overhead. The box booms, front of house, the front of house code position, as well as power to any third-party DMX controlled house lights that may be designed in this space. The blue cable is your DMX control cable. So this is a basic simple system that is showing DMX layout, not a network. We are finding that a lot of simple systems that are only one universe of DMX, they may very well just have DMX distribution. It's likely the cheaper solution because of the scale of the project. So that has DMX being run to every lighting position overhead. Again, this is also showing DMX running out to house lights. A lot of house lights out there are not controlled by DMX, so that wouldn't be needed. That they could be mains dimmable, they could be 0 to 10 volt. But this one is just showing an example of DMX controlled house lights. Then there's also a DMX line running out of that DMX splitter box going to the front of house control for the console. The yellow line is showing Visionette control cable as it comes from the relay rack and it goes to the equipment rack with the DMX splitter, and then it would go to every Visionette device, touchscreen, button station, portable station, to connect that to the system. So now let's go to what would be typical for a larger scaled system. If the first one would be a typical elementary school potentially, then this could be something that's more typical for a high school, a performing arts center, potentially a middle school, depending upon the scale of the project. So we still have our relay racks, and we're still distributing power to every lighting position. With the equipment rack, we've now moved from distributing DMX out of the equipment rack to distributing a network signal. So in this rack, you would likely find a network nodes, a network switch, and you would have the green lines are all Cat5 line that is being distributed out to each lighting position where there would likely be a 3-port node. We have 1-port, 3-port, and rack-mounted 8-port nodes. So here, the network lines from the switch are being distributed out to each lighting position where it plugs into the node, because the job of the node is to convert DMX from the fixtures onto and convert it to be able to be transmitted over a network. So once you get to the lighting position with the node, then you would come out DMX and daisy chain to every fixture at that lighting position. Again, the same thing is showing with the network going out to the third-party house lights. This is all theoretical. It might be straight DMX out to the house lights. It might be 0 to 10. It might be mains dimmable. So it just depends upon the third-party house light. The connectivity of VisionNet is still the same. So we do have a VisionNet line that's going out to all VisionNet devices, whether it's touchscreen button stations or the portable, which could be a touchscreen or a combination of touchscreen button stations and slider stations. So talking about Cat5 cable is fairly equal across many manufacturers. The most important thing is the jacket color. We do require that different jacket colors for different purposes, because a lot of times you will see network cable used to distribute DMX over Ethernet via streaming ACN, ShowNet, ArtNet. We're also seeing more and more Ethernet cable being used to put DMX directly down the line. So instead of a 5-wire, 3-wire, 5-wire DMX cable, people are using Ethernet cable. We just need the jacket color to be different. We typically use green jackets for VisionNet, blue jackets for Ethernet, and gray jackets if you're using Cat5 for DMX. We do strongly advise that anyone using Cat5 for DMX to follow standard cable limits of 100 meters per max on the daisy chain run. So looking at the lighting design or the fixture layout. So this one slide just shows an example of taking a standard proscenium space and breaking it up into 9 areas. So for these 9 areas, one would typically determine what systems of light are needed. Front light, side light, top light, back light, cyc light. You'd sort of determine what systems are needed, and then you would figure out the number of fixtures you need to cover all of the areas within that system. So I'll just sort of trim it down to 6 areas for this example just to keep it simple. So here we have a small proscenium theater. I would say this would be fairly typical for a elementary school in North America, where we would want front light. So from our front of house position, we would have 6 PL Profile 1 Mark IIs profiles, so that we have shutters to shutter off of the proscenium and off the pit, and you have the 4-color engine to mix whatever color you want. Then for better visibility, we have on the overhead electrics, we would have side light. Some people call these high sides or pipe ends, where we would have lights that are going to cover the performers from a high side position. It gives very more naturalistic and realistic looks. It covers better to the form than just pure front light. So we would have 6 PL1 profiles coming from stage left, 6 PL1 profiles coming from stage right, and then on the upstage electric we would have 6 PL FRESNELS to be able to cover those 6 areas for backlight. When moving to larger systems, it's really just about scaling up those same ideas. So just looking at product, again, for a typical small theater system, one would likely have a contact relay panel. Now this is a wall-mounted relay panel. It only does relays, but it is completely convection cooled. So there's no fan noise whatsoever to negatively contribute to the audible signature in the space. We have VisionNet control for architectural control, and we're previewing our Neo Compact 10. This is will be the newest member of our Neo family of products that will be out in Q2 of this year, 2020. The fixtures, we have the PL Psych for upstage psych or drop applications. We've got the PL Fresnel as the backlight. We have the PL Profile 1 as front light, and then your third-party house light control. So taking a look at one of our application engineering riser diagrams for a system like this. In the middle, we're going to have a contact relay panel, and then to the right of that is a DMX opto splitter. This is going to allow you to split that DMX signal from the single universe out to multiple lighting positions. The blue lines are just showing power that are going out to each electrics connector strip. Going on the other side of the contact relay panel, we have a VisionNet to DMX interface and the power supply. So this is going to provide the power for all the DMX devices, the button stations. This particular drawing doesn't show any slider stations. It does have a VisionNet programming station. This is a USB and serial port connector that allows the commissioning agent to connect into the system for commissioning. There are also some DMX ports that all go through that VisionNet DMX splitter so that the console can plug into the system. So this is a very basic system riser layout, and it's not too much to focus on the specifics, but just the way the communication path works out. That's the point that I wanted to get across to everybody. So now we're going to scale up, and we're going to go to a medium-sized theater. Notice we're still with contact relay panels. Now we may have multiple panels depending upon the capacity needed, but contact can take care of that easily. We still have VisionNet control for the 24/7 architectural control. Here we may choose to stay with the Neo Compact 10 because it does go up to 4 universes of control, or one may decide this is a higher end user and they need the full Neo console. Looking at the fixture side of it, we've gone from the PL Psych to the AURORA fixtures, again because it's going to scale up to better coverage for a larger psych because they have more output. You've got the VL800 series of PARs to do, again, for a larger scale application because the larger scale fixtures a little more output. Then we have our CANTATA FRESNELS for back or top light, and front of house we've moved to our LEKO LED, again larger scale, larger throws, higher output fixtures. And moving to the large scale, you see we really haven't changed that much. We're still with contact panels, VisionNet, Neo. These mid-theatrical fixtures are going to be able to scale up very nicely. About the only thing we've done is gone to the CODA, or added in these CODA psych fixtures for larger psych applications. So regardless of whether you're doing a small, medium, or large, it's really just about understanding how you want to do the distribution of your data, whether it's DMX or a network. We're generally going to network anytime we go to multiple universes. So single universe can typically still be a DMX based system, where 2 or more universes will go to a network. And then it's about choosing the right fixtures for all of the different lighting systems that are needed for each individual space. So if you understand the concept, if you understand how to do a medium-sized space, you can either scale it up to a larger or scale it down to a smaller. Very typically, we are often seeing automated luminaires going into school projects. We're seeing We're seeing this happen more and more, and the level of projects that are going to moving lights is actually going further down the food chain. So we proudly offer the VL2600 family of fixtures. There is a profile, a spot, and a wash. These are mid-sized fixtures with mid to high output applications and are being used more and more in small quantities in school projects. So the profile is going to give you shutters, which are going to be great for front of house as well as on stage. If you choose the spot, you won't get the shutters, but you're going to get a third gobo wheel in applications where you need more images. The wash fixture gives you a bit more output because it doesn't have all the glass that the others do. So the profile and spot are around 19,000 lumens, where the wash is up around 21,000 lumens, and these are great, reliable, road ready, easy to maintain fixtures for your projects. So this riser diagram is showing a network signal flow as to show it different than the DMX-based system. So in this particular drawing, you've got your equipment rack there in the middle, coming from the blue coming from the green contact racks. We do have two contact relay panels in this particular job. On the equipment rack side, the light blue in the middle, you've got your Visionette to DMX interface. You've got network switches, DMX repeaters, and they're going to communicate network out to each electrics connector strip, where there will be mounted a node. In this particular case, they're just showing single port nodes to distribute that network signal to the electric, where it can then convert to DMX. Then coming back to the relay panels, they're going to have the signal that connects directly the Visionette devices. So Visionette button stations, Visionette touch screens, the Visionette, the DMX receptacle stations. So all of that is all connected through that equipment rack and the relay panels, and there you have a console plugged into one of the network taps that had been installed likely in the front of house booth. So at the end of this presentation, I will have PDFs that are available for anyone, so you don't have to worry if you're not seeing every little detail. You'll be able to evaluate that more on your own time. But this, I've got 2 or 3 slides here that show just cost differences and some of the physical differences between an LED and a conventional lamp-based system. This will compare fixture count, power distribution, power management, load wiring, fixture cost. It will also include operational costs, so energy savings, replacement lamp, gel fixtures, color filter colors, and the cost difference. So with a small system, you're going to have an annual savings of about $10,000, which that's going to include, you've got the purchase price difference, and then you've got the annual operating cost, and this is simply the annual cost savings from operations. This slide is scaling up to a medium-based lighting system. So again, more fixtures, more relays, more connections, and more savings. So once you get up to a large system, again, the savings just increase. So you're now saving just on operational annual cost in a large system over $40,000. So when thinking about designing an LED-based system, there are many things that are different that need to be considered. So LED fixtures, they have electronics. They're little mini computers, so it's no longer just a lamp. They need either constant power or relay to provide switched power. No dimmers are needed, and in fact, it is not healthy to have an LED powered by a dimmer, even if it's parked at full. It will damage the electronics over time. The LED fixtures are physically sized different than their lamp-based fixtures. This is in part due to these onboard electronics, so you need to make sure that the space can accommodate the fixtures you've chosen. Many LEDs also have fans, and these must be set properly, so leaving them in their default position may not be correct for the space, so that's something that needs to be understood and commissioned properly when the job is installed. LED fixtures have multiple profiles, and they need to be set based upon the needs of the facility. Newer consoles are needed due to advanced color mixing features, and the architectural control system needs to be able to snapshot the entire stage lighting system and not just the house lights. So let's talk about each of these. So fixture requirements may be different. If you have an RGBW fixture where previously with lamp-based technology you had one that had red gel, one that had green, one that had blue, you may not need all three of those fixtures anymore because you can get all of those colors from a single unit. We do have quality fixtures. Again, we're adding new families of fixtures all the time, so we have a very comprehensive offering once we get the Mid-Theatricals out this quarter, and this will give you a lot more variety of options of fixtures. This presentation does have some photometrics that I'm just going to sort of bounce through. But they will be on the PDF version and available to anyone who sends me an email to request this after this training session. So let's talk for a moment about relays versus dimmers. I did mention that dimmers cannot be used to provide power to LEDs. The lack of a constant power source will damage the fixture's electronics over time. So relays are needed for this. Typical standard is to provide power to 4 outlets per circuit, or 4 fixtures on a relay, but one needs to confirm the output, the wattage that's required for each fixture to make sure that's appropriate. The relay panel comes in 12, 24, 36, 42, and 48 relay sized cabinets. They are ideal for a wide range of control, and multiple units can be used within the same system in master-slave mode. Probably one of the best kept secrets in our industry is distributed raceways. Our R21 Powered Raceway, it's a perfect solution in many environments where you don't want or don't need a centralized relay cabinet location. Here the relays are actually integrated directly within the electric strip, the circuit bar, so everything is needed directly there. You have a fully digital raceway. It does DMX input and output. You can have the processor be remote into the equipment rack. You can distribute data over networking. These are all convection cooled IGBT dimmer and relay modules, so there are no fans at all. You've got a local focus button with status display so that you can focus the lights directly from the fixture location. If you do have dimmer modules, they have a 1000 microsecond rise time, so that significantly reduces lamp noise. Dual relay modules for on-off operation. So these are great units. We see more and more people, once they understand the availability of these distributed raceway systems, take advantage of them for small to medium-sized applications. So a little about the contact relay panel. It does have an integrated astronomical time clock. These can be recessed or surface mounted, individually fed branch circuits, or 3-phase power options. Single and double pole relays for 20 amps, either at 120, 230, 277, and 347 volts. It can communicate natively VisionNet, DMX, and Ethernet. You do have local control of all relays as well as over DMX. These cabinets can also be linked with A21 dimming cabinets if you do need dimmers for a fully integrated solution. Expanding a little bit on lighting positions, again, you need to make sure that you understand the physical requirements of these fixtures, especially if you're looking at front of house positions, because some of these fixtures are larger than their lamp-based counterparts. Fan control. Directly on the back of the fixture, you're going to have the ability to set this fan control. I will tell you from experience, if you just leave them on at full, if you have a number of fixtures in a lighting position, the noise will probably be inappropriate. So these need to be adjusted and set properly. When you set them at the medium level, you're still going to get, in the vast majority of installations, you're still going to get all the output you need, just minimizing the fan noise. Fixture modes. I see a lot of distributors and engineers that have yet to really learn and understand, to have a really good understanding of fixture modes and how you choose which one is right for a particular job. So we'll just start with the basics that you do have on the PL fixtures. As an example, you have 3 different modes. You'll have a 5-channel mode, which simply has intensity RGBW. Then you have a 9-address 8-bit mode, which adds other parameters. Then you have a 16-bit mode for 15 addresses, which is going to give you additional, the highest resolution possible on these fixtures. So it's important to understand that going from the 5-channel mode to the 16-bit mode, you need 3 times the DMX address capacity for the exact same fixtures. So it does make a very big difference for the output of your system, because if you triple the addresses, you need to make sure you have the network to support that many addresses over the total number of universes needed. 5-channel mode is great for simple basic control. 8-bit is used when you need those additional control channels, and 16-bit is recommended when the facility requires fine control of color. So again, you just need to make sure that your DMX network distribution system is engineered to provide all of the required universes and DMX address control that are needed for the facility. So a little more information about this, about understanding the estimated total DMX count. Again, I'll let you go over the details of this later, but just understand that on a large theater lighting layout, you could go from needing 389 addresses to 1,039. So that goes from 1 universe to 3 pretty quickly. This is especially true when dealing with linear product like the SL600 series. If someone decides they need individual control of a 640, the 4-foot strip, versus entire fixture control, that's going to take that one strip from needing 15 addresses to needing over 100 addresses just for that one 4-foot strip. So it makes a big difference, and it needs to be understood beforehand. So consoles. Current day consoles are needed because they're going to have advanced color mixing features. They're going to have advanced live color control, color palettes, color effects, where some older consoles may not have these tools for these advanced fixtures. Architectural control. Older specifications that I've seen only require the architectural control to snapshot the house lights, and this isn't acceptable anymore. Every system that I have dealt with, an end user group, they need to be able to snapshot their entire stage picture onto the architectural controls. So one needs to make sure that that DMX control signal from every fixture in the facility needs to go through VisionNet, so that the end user can snapshot and take lighting pictures of the stage for the different events and requirements that they have for podium, assemblies, choir, band, orchestra, various events that do not require the need of a console to be turned on. We also do emergency DMX bypass. Our bypass switch does both emergency and panic lighting solutions for DMX driven fixtures. So if you have a facility that has DMX, has emergency power circuits, which are going to be just the circuits that are needed when power goes out, then we can manage that information for you through this device. Same thing with panic, which could be from fire alarm, so that the lighting system can respond when that fire alarm goes off and goes to a specific lighting look. Each bypass unit can handle up to 4 individual universes of DMX. They can also act as a splitter, doing 1 in, 4 out, or 2 in, 2 out. So these states, these panic or emergency, we can actually do snapshot to the loads. So just as a really, really simple example, if you've got color mixing LED house lights, and when the emergency circuits are tripped, they could be programmed to always go green. And when you get a fire alarm signal goes off, then all the lights could be programmed to go red. So again, just really simple examples, not recommendations. And then once either power or the panic is restored, then we have different ways that we can return the state. So it can happen immediately, it can happen over a slower amount of time, so different ways to configure this. The other thing that we found extremely important is console training. So this is the key to success for every school's lighting system installation. They may not be dealing with relays and fixture addresses every day, but they're probably dealing with their lighting console on a very, very frequent basis. So starting back in 2018, or maybe early 2019, for every system that we quote, console training is included. So that's part of it's priced into the job, and more we are recommending that console training be separate from lighting system training. These I'm very protective of the school teachers and staff because they are often required to do training for their entire theatrical system within a concentrated amount of time. So they often are inundated with, in one day, having to learn the audio system, the projectors, AV system and control, how their lighting system works, what their fixtures do, how to manage their fixtures, and to try and do console control all at the same time. And our brains just aren't wired to take in that much new information all in one time. So it's important that console training is done separate and dedicated from the lighting system training to allow them to process that lighting system information and then do console training on the following day. We will be moving to a certified console training program later this year, where we can provide the training for your systems directly from the factory, or provide dealers, reps, commissioning agents the training to do the certified training themselves. So we are committed to improving the lives of the end user and getting them to a happier place faster upon the commissioning of their system. Because I think we all know, with getting our end users to be happier faster, minimizes support calls for tech support, for dealers, for reps, and just gets everybody in a much better place sooner. So that's it. That's how we put it all together. Again, with our now an extremely wide range of offering on fixtures with the VL800 series, the PL products, the new Mid-Theatrical fixture series coming out. We still have and sell truckloads of the Showline products. We have the VL2600 family of fixtures going in. Neo Console, the new Neo Compact 10 coming out this quarter. VisionNet is constantly being updated and increase its offering and simplify the DMX bypass. We've got our dimming and relay racks. So this is these are the components that you use to put it all together. All right, thanks everybody for attending. Bye-bye.